I never thought I'd be the guy writing something like this, but here we are. My name's Mike, and I've been with my wife, Lisa, for about 6 years now. We met in college, and honestly, I thought we had a good thing going. We weren't perfect, sure, but I trusted her. We had plans, settling down, maybe kids someday, the American dream. At least I thought so. At first, things seemed normal, maybe a little rocky, but nothing out of the ordinary. Then, out of nowhere, little things started to bother me. She'd be secretive about her phone, hiding messages, sometimes quickly deleting things when I'd walk into the room. She'd be a little bitchy when I asked about her day, snappy, dismissive. She'd blow off my questions, say I was overthinking, that I was paranoid. Honestly, I wanted to believe her, but I couldn't shake the feeling that she was hiding something. The biggest sign was her long meetings, sometimes late into the night, when she'd leave the house saying it was just work, but I noticed she was coming home later and later. I kept telling myself she was busy, that maybe she was just working extra hours, but deep down, I started to suspect something. I was also noticing her phone more often, her changing passwords, and a lot of incoming calls I couldn't see. One day, I decided to do a little digging. It wasn't like I wanted to invade her privacy, but I couldn't ignore the gut feeling anymore. I got access to our home security footage because she'd left her work laptop open one evening, and I noticed something that made my stomach drop. I saw her meeting someone in her office, an older guy well-dressed with a familiar face. It was our immigration attorney, Robert. I couldn't believe it. I'd heard her talking to him on the phone a few times, but I thought it was just about the citizenship process. Now I saw them sitting close, whispering, exchanging what looked like intimate glances. At first I was stunned. The betrayal felt like a punch to the chest. How could she do this? To me? To everything we built? I replayed the footage over and over, trying to make sense of it. Why Robert? He was supposed to be helping us with our citizenship, not cheating with my wife. My mind spun. How long has this been going on? Was I just blind to it? I felt numb but also furious. It wasn't just the affair, it was the fact that she lied every step of the way. She lied about her long meetings, about her whereabouts, about everything. And Robert, that bastard, he knew what he was doing. He wasn't just some lawyer, he was her fucking lover. I kept looking at the footage, feeling this mix of disbelief, anger, and shame. How could she betray me like this? I thought I knew her, but the truth was, I didn't know her at all. I needed to confront her. I couldn't keep pretending everything was okay. But I didn't want to go in screaming or yelling. I wanted her to finally admit what she had been doing. It was time to face the music. I took a deep breath, gathered my courage, and decided tonight would be the night I got the truth out of her, no matter what. That night, I waited until she got home from whatever bullshit work meeting she told me she had. I was sitting on the couch, my stomach twisting, trying to keep my cool. When she finally came in, her heels click-clacking on the hardwood, I looked right at her and said, "Lisa, we need to talk." She rolled her eyes, the usual bitchy look that I'd come to hate. "What now? I'm tired, Mike. Can't this wait?" She started to brush past me, but I blocked her path. I didn't want to come across as some crazy guy, but I couldn't hold it in anymore. "Yeah, it can't," I said, "because I saw the footage. The one where you're with Robert, our lawyer, in your office. All those times you told me you were just working late. You're with him, you're sleeping with him." I saw her freeze. Her eyes flickered, a flicker of panic, then a defiant glare. "Oh, come on, Mike," she said, voice dripping with annoyance. "You're overreacting, you don't know what you're talking about." She tried to deny it, but I had the footage. I had the proof. I held my phone up, showing her the screen. Her face turned red, and for a moment she just stared at it, silent. Then she scoffed. "That's not what it looks like. Robert's just helping with the paperwork, it's nothing more." She crossed her arms, trying to dismiss it like I was making up some crazy story. "Bullshit," I shot back. "You're lying. I saw the way you looked at him. That's not just professional, that's something else." I felt my fists tight. "How long has this been going on? How long have you been cheating on me with your damn lawyer?" She looked away for a second, then sighed. "You're paranoid. You always think I'm cheating. Maybe I am, maybe I'm not. You don't know anything about what's really going on." She looked angry, like I was the one in the wrong for catching her. "Don't give me that," I said, voice rising. "You've been sneaking around, lying about your meetings, deleting messages. And Robert, That's just a coincidence, please, I'm not stupid. I could feel the heat rising in my chest. The betrayal was like a fresh cut every time I thought about it. Her eyes started to water, but she quickly masked it with anger. You don't know what you're talking about, she snapped. You're just jealous because I spend more time with Robert than with you. Maybe you're the one who's got issues. Maybe I'm the one who's tired of pretending everything's okay. That was when I realized she wasn't going to admit a thing. She was good at spinning lies, good at hiding her true self behind a bitchy facade. I knew I couldn't just walk away then. I had to decide what to do next. But right there in that moment, I felt the full weight of what just happened. The woman I loved, the woman I trusted, had been cheating on me with the very person I thought was helping us. And I was left standing there, feeling like a fool for not seeing it coming. After that night, everything changed. I couldn't sleep. My head kept replaying the images, the lies, her voice trying to dismiss everything. I felt betrayed, humiliated, and more than anything, furious. How could she do this to me, to us? I thought about all the mornings she'd leave early, all the nights I stayed up waiting for her just to find out she'd been with him. Robert. That greasy lawyer who was supposed to help us get our citizenship, but instead was banging my wife. I decided I needed more proof, something concrete, something that would make her realize I wasn't going to let her get away with it, so I started digging deeper. I went through her phone, her emails, every message, every call. It was a mess. She lied constantly, tried to cover her tracks, but I found more. Texts between her and Robert, dirty talk, plans to meet, excuses about helping each other out. She was telling him she was so tired of the charade that she needed something more. She was openly cheating. Not just a fling. I was sure this had been going on for months. I guess she thought I'd never find out, that I'd just accept her lying, her sneaking around, her cheating. But I didn't. I was sick of feeling like a fool, like I was just some backup option for when she got bored of her real life. I knew I couldn't confront her again without more proof, so I paid a private investigator to follow her. That was a brutal week, watching her meet Robert in shady parking lots, slipping into hotel rooms, sneaking away for hours. I felt like I was losing my mind, but I had to see it with my own eyes. And when I finally got the footage, that was the moment I knew I had to do something drastic. She was with him and she was enjoying it. She was smiling, touching him, whispering secrets. That wasn't just sex. I could see the affection, the intimacy. And I realized she was done pretending. She didn't care about us anymore. She threw everything away for a stupid affair with a man who was supposed to be helping us. That's when I felt a cold rage taking over. No more Mr. Nice Guy. No more pretending I didn't see it. I was going to make her regret it. I didn't know how yet, but I knew I had to do something, so I started planning my revenge. I wanted her to feel what I felt, humiliated, betrayed, helpless, and I knew just how to do it. I wasn't going to just leave and hope she'd come back, because that would be giving her exactly what she wanted. No, I was going to make her pay. I was going to turn her world upside down. She thought she was smart, hiding her affair, lying her way out of it. But I was smarter. I'd catch her off guard. And when I did, she'd realize she messed with the wrong guy. The plan started forming in my head when I realized just how deep her betrayal went. I wanted her to see what she'd lost, not just to punish her, but to make her feel the full weight of her actions. I knew she'd never admit to her cheating willingly, so I had to be clever. I wasn't just going to confront her again with more accusations. I needed to hit her where it hurt the most, her reputation, her sense of control. First, I collected everything, the footage from the investigator, her texts, her emails, even some of Robert's private messages. I wanted irrefutable proof. Once I had all that, I set the plan in motion. I wanted her to believe she was still in control, still fooling everyone. I planned to make her think she'd gotten away with it, only to pull the rug out from under her at the last second. One evening, I invited her out for what she thought was a casual dinner. I played it cool, acting like everything was normal. She was her usual bitchy self, snapping at me, dismissing my concerns. I could see her trying to act like I was just crazy, like she could keep her secret forever. But I knew better now. I'd made copies of her texts, her emails, everything. And I was ready. After dinner, I told her I had something to show her. At first, she acted like I was trying to ruin her, but I pressed her, telling her I just needed her to listen for once. I pulled out my phone, connected it to the TV, and played the footage, her with Robert whispering, touching, smiling like they were in their own little world. Her face contorted with shock, then denial. She started to lie again, spinning some bullshit about helping him with the immigration papers, but I cut her off. "Don't bother," I said coldly. "I know exactly what's been going on, and I have all the proof I need to ruin you, your reputation, your life, everything." Her eyes widened with panic, and for a second she looked genuinely scared. But then she snapped, throwing out more lies, trying to make it seem like I was some jealous lunatic. She said I was paranoid, that I was making a mountain out of a molehill. That's when I realized I'd underestimated her. She was good at lying, but she wasn't prepared for me to fight back. I told her she had two choices: come clean and face the consequences, or keep lying and see how much damage I could do. She hesitated, then started crying, trying to manipulate me, saying how much she loved me, how she was sorry, how it was just a mistake. I didn't buy any of it. I saw her true colors then: bitchy, selfish, manipulative. I knew I had to act fast if I wanted to take control of this mess. I didn't yell, I didn't scream. I just told her she needed to pack her things. I told her that I was done with her lies and her fake apologies. That night I watched her pack her designer bags, her tears fake, her anger real. When she left, I felt a strange mix of relief and emptiness. The house was too quiet now, the silence deafening. I knew I wasn't done yet. Not by a long shot. I was just getting started. The days that followed were a blur of anger and clarity. I stayed in the house trying to process everything: that she'd been cheating on me with Robert, that she'd lied so effortlessly, and that she'd tried to manipulate her way out of it. Honestly, part of me wanted to explode, to scream at her, to ruin her life like she'd almost ruined mine. But I knew that wouldn't serve any purpose. What I really wanted was to make her understand what she'd lost, what she'd thrown away. I kept the footage accessible, just in case she tried to spin her way out again. I also started to think about how to make her feel the pain she'd caused. I wasn't just gonna kick her out and move on. No, I wanted her to see the full scope of her actions. I wanted her to regret crossing me, to regret the day she ever looked at Robert the way she did. One day, I decided to leak some of what I had, nothing too explicit, but enough to show everyone that she'd been unfaithful, that she'd betrayed her marriage, and most importantly, that she'd been lying about her intentions. I knew she'd spin it, say I was trying to ruin her reputation, but I didn't care anymore. I just wanted her to suffer the consequences of her own lies. The fallout was swift. Friends, family, even some acquaintances started asking questions. She tried to deny everything, but it was useless. The proof was too strong. Her bitchy attitude turned into desperation, her tears more genuine now, but I didn't buy it. She'd lied for so long, I couldn't trust her again. Meanwhile, Robert disappeared, probably realized I had enough evidence to make his life hell if he kept pushing. I didn't contact him directly, but I made sure everyone knew what kind of man he was. That lawyer who was supposed to help us become citizens. He was now known as a scumbag cheating with my wife. That felt good. It was justice, I guess, in a twisted way. But the hardest part was the loneliness. After she left, the house felt colder, emptier. I'd wake up thinking about everything: the betrayal, the lies, the trust I'd lost. That bitchy attitude she always had, mocking, dismissive, she was now just a ghost in my mind. I realized I'd been blind for so long, thinking everything was perfect when it was anything but. Still, I knew I had to move on. Part of me wanted to burn everything and start fresh, but I also knew that I'd learned something from this nightmare. Never ignore the signs, never trust blindly, and definitely never get complacent with someone who can turn your entire world upside down. I told myself I'd be okay, that someday I'd find someone who'd appreciate honesty and loyalty, someone who wouldn't cheat and lie and manipulate for their own selfish reasons. Looking back, I honestly don't regret exposing her. It hurt like hell, but it was the only way I could reclaim my life. I hope anyone else out there going through something similar learns from my story. Don't let betrayal fester inside you. Confront it, expose it, and take back your power. Because if you don't, the pain will eat you alive. I've got a long road ahead, but at least now I know who I am without her. And that's enough to keep moving forward. Now, sitting here reflecting on everything, I realize how much this whole experience has changed me. I used to think that love was about trust, about building something lasting. But betrayal like this teaches you a brutal lesson. You can't always control who someone really is. I thought I knew Lisa, thought she was the woman I'd spend my life with. Turns out she was someone else entirely. Someone manipulative, selfish, and willing to cheat the system and me for her own selfish needs. The worst part is I don't hate her. Not anymore. I'm angry, yes. But mostly I feel sorry for her. Sorry that she threw away a good marriage for a guy who's probably just using her. Sorry that she lied so much she can't even see her own reflection anymore. And I'm relieved. Relieved that I saw through her bullshit before she managed to ruin my life completely. I've learned that sometimes the only way to deal with a toxic person is to cut them out entirely. No contact, no second chances. I've become more cautious about who I trust, more aware of the red flags I once ignored. And I've realized that my self-worth doesn't depend on someone else's lies. I deserve better. I deserve honesty, loyalty, respect, things she showed she's incapable of giving. In the end, I've started to rebuild myself. I'm focusing on my career, my health, reconnecting with friends I'd pushed aside. The house is still cold, still lonely, but I know I'll get through it. Every day is a little easier. I don't wake up hoping she'll change or come back. I wake up knowing that I'm stronger than I thought, that I can survive even the deepest betrayals. And to anyone out there who's going through something similar, know this: you're not alone. It hurts like hell, but you'll come out the other side. You'll learn who your real friends are, what you're worth, and that sometimes the best revenge is simply moving on and proving that you don't need someone who doesn't value you. So yeah, that's my story. It's ugly, it's painful, but it's real. And I hope it helps someone else see that even in betrayal, you have the power to start over. Because if I can do it, so can you.